Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time doing another Spidey-tember episode review. And this one is on episode 8, The Party. Now as you know, I've got one more day left of doing Spidey-tember, and we'll try to get the episode done for Flash Memory. If not, I will move on next year to do that one and the last few episodes of Spider-Man the New Animated Series, and try and focus on another Spider-Man series. So, The Party, I would say, is basically a foreshadowing to Spider-Man 2, as well as the film version of Electro. The story was pretty much directed by Adu Padin, and the story done by Brian Michael Bendis, who was also known for working on Ultimate Spider-Man, as well as working on now as well with DC Comics. So The Party is meant to feature how Peter Parker tries to warn his nerdy high school friend Max Dillon about Doug Reisman, who is meant to be this obnoxious, selfish, inconsiderate, and kind of guy who believes himself to be this big important guy and is the head of a sort of fraternity. And we kind of see how Max does anything he can to get Doug to notice him and join Doug Reisman's fraternity. And you can tell Peter knows that Max is going to set himself for a hard fall, and does voice concern. And you can tell he knows that Doug Reisman is no good. And I think as soon as Max gets to the party, it's kind of clear that Doug and his fraternity have no concern or care for him, and end up going way too far, leaving Max to end up becoming Electro, almost based on the kind of ultimate look, and leaving Peter to see to his shock and even to his dismay at what Max became. I would say the episode does serve as a great foreshadowing to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Electro, because I think, much like Max Dillon in Spider-Man the New Animated Series, you did notice how Max Dillon in the film of Amazing Spider-Man 2 saw Spider-Man as that one big hero that he admired. And we kind of saw how people like Spencer Smythe, as well as his mum, had no concern for him. And we did see how, in Max's mind, about confronting people, even though it was never going to happen. And similar to Spider-Man the New Animated Series, we do kind of see how Max feels betrayed and hurt by the people he thought cared about him. I think the difference, I would say, when you had Spider-Man Far From No Way Home, and The Party is, Peter's reasons for feeling responsible for Max were actually justified. You could actually tell from Peter's expressions, and even to his shock and anger, how much he felt responsible. The problem with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is that he says Max was the sweetest guy, even though he never knew him or his approval-seeking behaviour. And I will also say as well, it's interesting to hear Peter Parker in this series talking about how the X-Men don't get to go to parties, obviously foreshadowing some events of the X-Men movies happening differently in Spider-Man the New Animated Series, so implying they at least exist in this version. I think The Party, in my opinion, does serve as a strong and important moral, that sometimes the people you provoke might want revenge, and sometimes you might be opening a Pandora's box you can't close. I think it's not the perfect one, but it does have an important moral I think everyone should be careful of. So I think this episode definitely deserves a thumbs up. It's still a better one after Heads Over Heels, and at least slightly builds up Max in some way. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.